Hi everyone! I'm really looking forward to participating in the Summer Creative Retreat again on August 3rd. In the live workshop, I'll be teaching you how to expressively sketch a cute house in a landscape with colored pencils. It's accessible for all levels. All the details you need to know to sign up for this free workshop and access the goodie bundle and the replay are in the description below. This is part one of a two-part series to help you prepare for the workshop. In this part, I'll be showing you how I choose a reference photo and the most important factors that I consider. In the second part, we'll go through how to choose colored and colored pencils for our final sketch by making some quick thumbnails. You'll then be able to apply these techniques when you are planning your own sketches in the future, which will be especially helpful if you are new to colored pencils. Here's the reference photo I've chosen for the workshop. Isn't it gorgeous? But how do we go from a general idea of what we want to sketch to finding that perfect photo? One thing my law degree taught me is how important it is not to breach copyright. So keeping that in mind, we have a few good options. You can of course search through your own photos, especially if you have them saved in a researchable cloud service like Google Photos, for example. The only trick is to avoid doing lifelike, recognizable sketches of strangers' faces without their permission, especially children. But I would suggest not taking or posting those photos in the first place. Second, you can look at painting challenges on Instagram or other accounts on social media where the photographers specifically share their photographs and give you permission to use them. However, this can be more difficult if you're looking for something more specific like I was for this workshop, rather than general sketching practice or inspiration. Some of my favorite accounts for this are Landscape Art Club, if you want to practice sketching landscapes, and Sketchinetta. Jeanette, the owner of this second account, was part of our Brave Brushes community and runs a weekly sketch this in your own style challenge of beautiful houses and interesting vehicles. I will link their Instagram accounts below. But my favorite method is to search photos on royalty-free image websites like Unsplash or Pixabay. These websites give you a license to download and use their photos for free, including for sketching. You don't need to attribute the photos to the photographers, but that's obviously a nice thing to do. So thank you to Widor Nordli Matheson, I hope I pronounced this name right, who took the Unsplash photo that I've cropped to use as our reference photo for this workshop. And I need to say, his portfolio is absolutely stunning. I've linked his socials below, so you can check it out. Even if you just started on your art journey, it's good practice to get into the habit of sourcing your reference photos like this now, especially if you like sharing your drawings on social media. Your future self will thank you when someone asks to buy your artwork. Okay, let's say we've decided to search for our photo on Unsplash. So what are we actually looking for? For this workshop, I was looking for a gorgeous house and a landscape, which is one of my favorite subjects to draw. Once you become a more experienced sketcher, you can use a reference photo as a general guide and then play to your heart's desire. You can use your imagination to change the direction of the light source and the colors, or take inspiration from several different photos to make your own composition. But when we're starting out, we want to remove as many barriers as possible. So we're looking for things like a building that is easy to break down into simple shapes, and that doesn't require in-depth knowledge or perspective. In other words, you can draw what you see. Bright, contrasting colors. For example, complementary colors such as green and red or orange and blue. Interesting textures and architectural details. This will allow us to be expressive and make the most of the difference in pressure that colored pencils allow us to take advantage of. Strong shadows with clearly defined edges and a clear light source. An engaging composition and a clear focal point. Okay, let's start searching. So we can use Unsplash like a searching engine, although you might need to experiment with your own search terms. I'm not looking for a house from a particular country or color. I want to start with a very general search. So let's try looking for landscape and house to begin with. As I scroll through the various options, I'm keeping the factors we discussed in mind. For example, this yellow house is jumping out at me off the page. So I think it would be a good idea to save that. I like to do an initial search where I download any photo that piques my interest, and then I will take another look at them all together to choose my reference photo. Unsplash contains lots of useful text to explore from your initial search. For example, once I've clicked on this yellow house, I can scroll down to related images to see what options that provides. If I notice I'm choosing a couple of photos of the same author, I can click on their name to see other photos they have uploaded to the website. Also, take a look at the text on the photos that you like to see if they suggest other search terms. Maybe you want to add a particular season if you like fall or summer colors. You can also look at things like related collections, where other users of the site have grouped together similar photos. We can also try another general search, like landscape and view, for example, which didn't bring up anything particularly interesting, right? We could also add house to that search. Although I found those photos tended to emphasize the view too much, when I actually want the house to be the focus of our sketch. Now that we've got a bunch of different photos to consider, let's take a look at them together in the context of those factors we discussed earlier and pick a single reference photo. This house is absolutely cute, but this photo focuses more on the surroundings than on the house itself. We can of course crop this picture and make a different composition, but I think that the house is actually not very interesting to draw. I absolutely love all the textures on this building. But I think that it's very complicated for beginners, and for a live workshop, it's important that beginners can sketch along with me. I adore this photo because all the beautiful colors and textures. But I think it would be difficult to make an interesting and engaging sketch out of it, especially with colored pencils. I don't like using black colored pencil in my sketches, because I think it makes the other colors in your sketch look dull. But if I use dark blue for the mountains, the effect wouldn't be the same. If we look at this reference photo though, and consider our key factors, it's looking pretty good. The house is in the focus of the picture, and it's a nice bright color that stands out against the background. We've also got interesting textures on the roof, with contrasting lines on the side of the house that run in the opposite direction. The shadows on the house are quite dark and easy to see, and they have clear edges that makes them easy to draw. The light source is coming from the top left, which is my favorite direction, and we don't need to change it. Also, we don't need to worry about perspective here. What I also absolutely love about this picture is the amount of textures in the grass, which isn't really green, but it has a variety of different colors. And that variety will allow us to mix different colored pencils together in an interesting way. The picture has warmer colors in the foreground and cooler colors in the blue of water and mountains, which is one of the tricks for creating depth in our sketches. The background is unique with the beautiful water and mountains. And a very nice thing here, comparing to that yellow house in one of the previous sketches, is that in this sketch the background is not very present. It's not very important what colors we're going to use here. We can use any blue colors we prefer. And it's easy to draw because it shouldn't be that detailed. Just a few pencil strokes is enough. I would say that's the perfect reference photo for this workshop. Almost, because sometimes what's perfect for a photo doesn't work quite as well in a sketch. For example, in the front half of the picture, there is just way too much grass. Even though it has interesting colors and textures, I want the house to be the focus. So to rectify that, I'm going to crop the photo slightly to make it portrait. We still get a lot of grass to play with, but we can focus on the details of the house now. And we've kept an interesting slice of water and mountains in the background. We can also now appreciate that we can play with complementary colors of red and green in our sketch. So although I said for beginners we want a reference photo we don't have to change much, cropping the photo to change the focus slightly is a quick way to make it easier to sketch it later on. The next step is to make some thumbnails to choose what colors and colored pencils we want to use in our final sketch. We'll cover it in part 2 of this series, which will be released on Friday, August 2nd, so you have time to watch it before the live workshop at Summer Creative Retreat. In this video, I walked you through my process for choosing your reference photo for a sketch and the key factors I keep in mind. Let me know in the comments what tip you find the most helpful. Remember to sign up for the Summer Creative Retreat by clicking on the link in the description below. I hope you are just as excited for this workshop as I am. Can't wait to see you there. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. See you next week. Happy sketching. Bye bye.